Hello, I'm Daniel Conlon, Bishop of the Diocese of Joliet. I'm happy to be speaking to you today from my home. And sitting here on the couch reminds me of sitting with my father when I was a kid. My dad used to sit with us on the couch and read to us from the Bible. Now, my dad was no Bible scholar, although he's one of these people who considers him an expert on just about everything. But he just really believed in his Christian faith, and he wanted to share it with us. We really like reading from the Bible because our family Bible at home had beautiful pictures of David holding the head of Goliath, or the wise men visiting at the nativity of Jesus. And then, of course, there was Daniel, my namesake, with the lions in the lion's den. As we got older, of course, we were able to understand the stories that went behind those pictures. And my dad clearly had a real love for the stories. He had a love for the God who made those stories possible. And of course, as time went on, my dad taught us not just the stories in the Bible, but about God himself and about Jesus, his son, and the fundamentals of the Catholic faith, the Christian faith. I came to appreciate my faith long before I ever went to a Catholic school, long before, surely, I went to the seminary. It was that sense of conviction that made a difference. Again, my dad didn't have any formal training in theology. He went to Mass every day. My mother was also a woman of great faith. We were a very busy family, like I know most families are. My dad had his own small business. He was a dry cleaner, and he was gone a lot. My mother did the bookkeeping and, of course, took care of the 6 children at home. So there was a lot of activity. But we had time to talk about our faith. We had time to pray at home. We prayed before meals, never missed that. We prayed the rosary, often kneeling around my parents' bed, and we never missed Mass on Sunday. Fortunately, my parents believed in Catholic schools, and so my brothers and my sister and I went to Catholic elementary school and Catholic high school. But even if we didn't have that chance to go to a Catholic school, I know that we would have gotten a good Christian formation from my parents. My parents even belonged to a discussion group with some other adults in our parish. I remember priests sometimes coming to our house to participate in those discussions, and being the oldest kid in the family, I sometimes would sneak down and sit on the steps where no one could see me, and I'd listen to those discussions. I didn't often understand what they were talking about, but it just fascinated me that these other adults would come into our home and a priest would be there, and they would be talking about things that clearly were important in the Catholic faith. I want to share with you this sense of parents being the primary teachers of their children in the ways of faith. Just like with my parents, that doesn't mean that you have to be experts. It certainly doesn't mean that you have to have a lot of formal training in the faith. What it means is that you have to, first of all, have a deep conviction about the faith yourself. You can never be phony about passing on the faith to your children. It has to be something that truly comes from your heart. It did come from my father's heart and my mother's heart. And secondly, you do have to have some fundamental understanding of the faith. You can't teach your children falsehood. You can't teach them, you can't make up the faith. This is not a fairy tale. This is not the Tooth Fairy or Santa Claus that you're talking about here. This is real. Jesus was a very real person. He's the Son of God who came and dwelt on earth and died and rose from the dead. And Mary is a real person. All the saints are real people who lived and had exemplary lives and have something to teach us. The angels are real. Our faith is based on historical reality. And it has developed, what we believe, the specific teachings of the Church have developed over time. They've been defined by the Church and written down. We have the Catechism of the Catholic Church, which is accessible to anybody who wants it. And there are all kinds of materials out there. Some of it's online, on the internet. You have to be careful and make sure it's good Catholic material. Some of it's available in printed form. Some of it might be actually available right in your own parish. Many parishes have lending libraries. Many parishes have book racks in church where you can pick up things. And the parish is also a good resource because many parishes have adult faith formation programs. There may even be Bible study groups in your parish, or even adult discussion groups like the one my parents belonged to when we were young. These are all ways that you can deepen your faith, both in terms of your commitment, but also in terms of your knowledge of the faith. You have a great opportunity. I know you love your children. You brought them into the world. God gave you that gift of life for your children. And you want the best for your children. I know you do. You do materially. You give them things. You work hard for them. But more than that, you want them to grow up and to be happy. You want them to have the best life possible. But what's the best in life? Well, the best in life is knowing God and being able to live life with the spiritual gifts that God gives us. And you have to be the one who introduces your children to those realities. You can do it. I know you can do it. My parents did it, and many other parents over the history of faith have done that. How does the faith get passed on from generation to generation? Sure, our parishes, our priests do it, our Catholic schools do it, our parish religious education programs do it. All of those are part of the effort. But in the end, the faith gets passed from generation to generation because of parents. It's parents who believe in Jesus Christ and pass that belief on to their children from the sincerity of their hearts. It's parents who decide to take their children to Mass on Sunday and prepare them for the other sacraments. It's parents who decide to send their children to a Catholic school or to religious education programs from the beginning of school all the way through high school. It's parents who challenge their children to make good decisions based on the moral teaching of Christ and the Church, and that includes well into young adulthood. You can do it because God has given you the gift to do it. If He gave you children, He gave you also the gift to be able to instruct your children in the ways of faith. It is something that you can do. It's something that you need to do out of love for your children. God bless you and your work of passing on the faith to your wonderful, beautiful children.